Hello and welcome to the Prosperity Portal podcast. I'm your host, Jill Alana, and I'm here to support you in everything you need to prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. I'm obsessed with everything manifestation, soul path, intuition, somatic embodiment healing, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in liberating to a life of love and luxury. True empowerment, true sovereignty, and aligned soul manifestation. I'm the founder of Jill Alana International, Jai Activations, and Jai Breathwork. And without further ado, let's go to the show and get you resourced in everything pro your spirit. Hello, beautiful souls. Okay, so I have some manifestation stories for you today. Firstly, I would love to talk about what manifested when I commanded my quantum leap. If you scroll back a few episodes, you will hear the one of how I commanded a quantum leap and basically was commanding the next level of cash flow. So it is bonkers how this manifested, like literally bonkers. So we'll start here. If you have not watched the Gifted Prosperity Masterclass though, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I got great feedback on it. We also do an energy clearing and boost and activation in it. I do intuitive reads for prosperity. And even if it's not a read specifically for you, a lot of the keys and energetics that I shared for other people and the tools will really benefit you as well. The Prosperity Portal membership is now open. There is over $10,000 of courses on the back end already. I'm about to add a number of other ones. And we are meeting twice live every single month as well. It is only $222 a month. You can join whenever you want. You can leave whenever you want. Once you join, you get access for that whole month, the live calls plus everything on the back end. And if you miss the live calls, those will be hosted in the living library as well inside the membership. I'm not going to go into details on that, but I'll put the link in the show notes so that you can check it out. And applications are open for early bird for the Prosperity Portal Retreat, the end of May on the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia. It is life-changing. Check out the testimonials. If you watched the masterclass, we had a number of people that were at the past couple of retreats and they shared some stories. I didn't even ask them to share stories. They literally just shared them in the chat. So that was super fun. Anywho, so about a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I decided I was commanding a quantum leap. I was looking for a mastermind and I had looked at about 8, I think, masterminds and like intuitively tested them. And some of them felt like, oh, like kind of logically, yes. And then there was one that basically was a soul yes. And I got a yes. And then I almost sabotaged myself. I woke up the next morning and I was like, no, I didn't really need this. Well, needless to say, thank goodness I joined that mastermind. Wow. I understand on so many levels, which I will not get into today, but why I was meant to be in that mastermind. I definitely had imposter syndrome stepping in there, and holy Toledo, so grateful I made that choice. So I paid for that in full, and I was not available to, so with my finances for personal and the business, I have different allocations, right? And so I wasn't available to go into credit card debt. I did put it on a credit card. I had money coming in and certain percentages go to different allocations. Nicole and I teach this in our mastermind, our Soul Aligned Wealth Mastermind, which I think we're changing the name next time, so stay tuned. We've come up with it. So I'm not allowed to release it yet, but stay tuned for that. We teach it there. And we also teach in the Financial Liberation series, which is kind of like a mini series. And by mini, I mean, there's like 9 hours of potent content in there. That actually is in the living library of the Prosperity Portal. So both Nicole and I's transmissions for that, with her permission, of course, I got it, are in the Prosperity Portal. A great place to start if you would like to really up-level your finances and the cash flow, etc. There's so many money tools in the Prosperity Portal, but we also have, it's literally to help you prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. Anywho, so I made this choice. I made the investment. There was like a bonus if you paid in full. And it was a significant investment. It was more than was in my business bank account. Of course, I have a bunch of people on payment plans and payments were coming in, but there wasn't enough payments to come in for the next month to cover that. And so I commanded a quantum leap. And lo and behold, this is bonkers because, well, shortly after that, I invested in a session with a woman that I synchronistically found. She was actually referred to me, and then I decided I was actually meant to do private mentorship with her, which was another 5-figure investment. And I'm like, okay, source, God, you're telling me to do this, but like, I don't have the abundance, and I made up all these stories or like the cash flow right now. Anyways, I did invest in it and the cash flow came. The crazy thing is I faced there was a lot of adversity because I was waiting for mails in the check, and then, Canada Post went on strike. I still don't have those checks. So looking forward to those when they arrive. And there was some things in the business where unexpected things happened. I stayed super neutral during this whole time in regards to money. There was a couple hiccups where I was like, okay, I'm feeling emotions. So I went and I did one of my activations that's called Into the Void. And I went and I transmuted these emotions as I teach people to do and as I have tools in the Prosperity Portal to do. And I just came back to neutrality and I came back to my power. And it was the craziest thing because I thought my credit card was due today on the 22nd. And I have this thing called my soul fund, and I didn't want to move money out of the soul fund. But 2 days ago, I was like, okay, there's a lag in the payments from Stripe that it takes, depending, I have 2 Stripe accounts linked to different databases essentially. So one of them takes a week and a half for payments to come through. Another one takes 3 days because I've had it longer. And I've earned the right to have it, every couple days come in. And so the payments were there and I was like, hey, the money's here and it's also coming. And I didn't want to pull money from my soul fund, but I actually heard my higher self say to move that money out. It's in an account in my business. I have a personal soul fund and I have a business soul fund. Again, the energetics of this we go deep into. In the mastermind, the basics of it and the allocations are in the Financial Liberation series with Nicole and I that lives in the Prosperity Portal membership at this moment. And stay tuned because we're going to do another master series. It's going to be on different teachings, but still very, very powerful teachings similar to this. So stay tuned for that. Anywho, I heard move it and pay it off on the 20th, which was 2 days ago. So I'm recording this on the 22nd. And I was sure, guys, I had it in my calendar that the payment was due today and that, I had reminders, and the 22nd is when Soul Sale September calls come down. It is when the Prosperity Portal membership, the founders member rate dissolves. And so I was like, oh, the 22nd, all these things are happening. But I had the intuition to move it on the 20th because I was like, it's busy. I'm back home with my family. I've been riding. I've been taking care of the dogs. I've been busy with clients and the mastermind. There's just been a lot going on. And so I was like, I'm going to move it. I'm going to trust this. The money's there. It's literally in the Stripe account. Minus, it was $250. I was short. And again, the check that was being sent was way more than that. And then there was some other unexpected expenses. And yeah, so I moved the money to the credit card and then I checked this morning. So I got a refund of several $1,000s on something. I was like, what? That I was totally unexpecting. And it was actually something I forgot about, which was like bonkers. It was like a package that like never came, and like it was like taking months, and I was like, just cancel the order. So anyways, I like forgot about that, and it literally came through this morning, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because that's like, like with the amount, it was like more than like 4 figures more than I demanded for my quantum leap. But here's the thing. I go and I check my credit card statement today, and I'm dyslexic, for those of you who don't know. This is why I can read energy fields very well, because my mind works in a very different way. Like, I've always been very good with patterns and physics and math and calculus and chemistry, but I mix numbers and I mix letters. And so somehow that credit card bill was due on the 20th, the day I paid it. And I could have sworn on my freaking life that it was due the 22nd. Like, that's literally what I saw. So I guess my dyslexia like was playing tricks on me. But my higher self guidance was like, no, pay it on the 20th. And I did. Thank God, because it was a high credit card bill. This mastermind was a massive investment. And then on top of that, I invested another 5 figures. It was like multiple 5 figures. I think I invested more in this month than I have ever invested in a month in my entire life. And okay, this gets into the other manifestation story. So it would have been several thousands of dollars had I waited to pay it today that I owed in interest. And I'm energetically not available for credit card interest. So I've literally never had it. And I like calculated how much it would have been. And I was like, oh my goodness, thank God. So A, I'm not a match to credit card interest. So my higher self was like guiding me to do that. B, your higher self will guide you to do things that other people might be like, oh, don't do that. Like, people would have been like, oh, don't move the money out of your soul fund. Well, I had to for a couple of days. I didn't have to, but I chose to for a couple of days, and it's going to be put back in there, as well as the allocation percentage that of all the incoming cash that's being processed through Stripe right now. And the craziest thing happened. So after this, I was like I said, the quantum leap I initially commanded, I would have made like way more than that. But then I got called to invest in the other thing. That was another like 5 figures. And then I owed my other mentor today. And I was like, of course, this like other payment came in like divine timing. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. Anyways. So here's another manifestation, and this actually goes into commanding this quantum leap. So then after all of this, I've invested multiple 5 figures this month in, attaining new skills, mentorship, masterminds, just like support that I need for my business, plus bringing on a new team member who, she is the bomb. I'm so grateful for her. If she's listening to this, Queenie, shout out. So glad to have you on the team. And so there's just like been a lot of moving pieces and new allocations added with the cash flow, etc. And then I hear God say, okay, so actually let's back up. I'm on a plane with one of my best friends to Alberta, and she came to Thanksgiving with her partner, which worked out so synchronistically. It was like, we have a big family Thanksgiving, and with like a bunch of our family friends, and I was so grateful that my parents welcomed them to the family Thanksgiving as well. And it was so synchronistic because I invited them, and her partner's daughter had a basketball tournament in Calgary, literally, like, they live in Vancouver, as do I, literally the same weekend. So it was like such divine synchronicity. Anyways, it was the best time. Like, family is everything. Friendships are everything. Relationships are everything. I'll say that. Like, the quality of our life is really determined by the quality of our relationship and the depth and integrity of those. And so they came, and we're flying. The 4 of us are flying to Calgary a couple weeks ago for Thanksgiving dinner, and also my best friend's birthday and my best friend's partner's daughter's basketball tournament. And so we had her birthday here in Calgary on the Friday, and then we headed out to Canmore. And then when we're like getting on the plane, she had mentioned she was going to go visit a friend for a while in LA, and it's a long story. Anyways, I won't get into the details, but she was like, she's like, maybe you should come and like meet her, because she's like one of her other best friends, but I haven't met her. And then her partner was going to Laguna. And I was like, wait, what dates? And then they told me, and like, I've been wanting to meet like this other friend of hers for a while. It's just, we live in different countries and whatnot. And the mentor that I hired literally lives in Laguna. And I was going to do a private session with like an in-person private session with her during that time. And so I was like, this is so synchronistic. Yes, let's do it. But then meanwhile, I'm like, but I'm waiting for the cash flow, because this is before all this stuff came in, by the way. I didn't tell them that. I'm just like, I'm going to make this choice. Both and is the highest timeline. And so, God, you're calling me to go there to this in-person session. And I also wanted to go visit my niece and nephew in Arizona. I'm making a very conscious effort to visit family and like really, like I have the best relationship with my family that I've ever had in my entire life. And I knew I wanted to go before Christmas, and I was trying to coordinate times, etc. So I message my business partner, Nicole, who helps me we run our mastermind together, our wealth mastermind. And we've been trying to figure out a time to like mastermind for our next launch. And we're actually going to do a course together, plus the mastermind. And like, we're just rearranging things. So it's going to be different than this past one. And we were kind of like tuning into different timelines. And I was getting guidance to launch Oracle Wisdom Academy. She's getting guidance to launch a different masterclass. So like the timelines are moving, and I was like, it would be so cool if we could meet in person. She lives in California too. So I was like, message Nicole. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to be, it's not for sure. I was like still kind of on the fence, to be honest. But I think I'm going to be in Laguna and LA around these dates. Like maybe we should meet one day for the mastermind and then like go for dinner and catch up like as friends after. And she was like, yeah, like let's definitely pencil that in. And I was like, okay, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going, because like I just made some other big investments, but I'm being called to go and all these synchronicities are happening. And it also kind of depends on if my mentor can do that date for sure in person, which she said yes to. So it like all worked out perfectly. And then, well, actually she was like, can you do this date instead? And that date aligned with like the exact time my friends were going. It's a long story, but essentially it was all aligning. And then I was like, but I also am going to Scottsdale after. So it also depends on like my brother and sister-in-law and just like making sure those dates work for them. And she was like, wait, I'm literally driving to Phoenix, which is like 20 minutes from Scottsdale, on this date. And I was like, that was literally the date I was going to go and stay with them. And I was like, you can't make this stuff up. And the day before this, I spoke this into existence because I was driving to the barn with my mom, and we were trying to coordinate times to go visit my brother and sister-in-law. And she was like, oh, they're like, I was like, oh yeah, it's like, I think only an hour flight, maybe a bit less. And she's like, oh yeah, or it's like an hour away. And she's like, I think it's like 3 hours. I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, like a 3-hour drive. And I was like, dang, too bad I don't have a car. Like, that would be really cool if I had a car and I could just drive like a car in the States. And then the next day, Nicole told me that. And I was like, this is all aligning. Then I go message my sister-in-law. This is where we have to look at challenges, not as it's not meant to happen. So I messaged my sister-in-law. She's literally like, those are the only dates you can't come because we have guests. It's American Thanksgiving. And I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, Jill, like, let's just process this emotion. I was a bit bummed because I was like, it's all working out, and like manifested the ride, and like, it was like, boom, 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 like all the things aligning. But God doesn't make mistakes. Our higher self doesn't make mistakes. So I processed some of the emotion, and I was working through some grief because I'm healing my allergies right now to horses. And they were tied to a lot of grief. So that came up in this process. And I was like, whoa, that was a bit of intense emotion for like the fact that she said I can't go those dates. Anyways, I moved the energy and I came back to myself. And then I decided to do a prayer, and then I did an activation. And during this Jai activation, I did a very specific one where there's like spaciousness, where it's basically you start channeling your higher self and source, God, creator. And so I'm asking like why this was all aligning, and am I supposed to go? I'm very confused. Is there something in my creator field that's creating this misalignment with the dates? And like, what do I need to shift? Or am I not supposed to go? Like, I'm very confused at this point. And confusion can only live in the mind. So I come back to my soul, my body. Anyways, I did a 20-minute channeling session for myself. And what came through was, Jill, you're supposed to go to Sedona during that time when you can't stay at your brother's, and then come back and stay after. And the place in Sedona I'm going to is literally where I studied. It gets better, guys. Where I studied shamanism. I lived there. I lived there twice, actually. And then I've gone to visit numerous times. It's like another home for me. And I was feeling called a few months ago, but I just didn't know the timeline. And they have like such a good deal on it that, like, I don't know why during Thanksgiving weekend. But anywho, and then I get the download in this meditation to message. Shout out to Daniela if you ever listen to this. There's a beautiful woman, Daniela, she's been in some of my courses, and she's also a dear friend and just like soul family. And to connect with her, and she lives in Arizona too. And she was like, okay, here's the thing. This is, you guys, you cannot make this up. She was like, I was talking to my coach about you today because she was looking for somebody who teaches the shamanic arts and somatic healing and knows about energy protection and like the other realms and like the nuances of that, because a lot of people don't. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I've been asking God when to launch Oracle Wisdom Academy. And that day in prayer, I said, show me if I'm meant to launch this, because I had 2 other people in the 2 days before that reached out to me about when I was launching it. Do I teach shamanism and the somatic arts, and like emotional alchemy? And I was like, yes. And like, do I teach masculine, feminine energies and like womb wisdom, basically all the tools I use? And I was like, yes, like I've been meaning to start this healing school, but I haven't got the go ahead. And for those of you who have been in my world a while, you know I've talked about Oracle Wisdom Academy a lot, and the launch still hasn't happened. Anyways, that was the 3rd person. And I was like, show me 3 people if I'm meant to launch it. So we're going to launch that coming up in February is when we're going to start, I believe. And then Daniela was like, let's meet up when you're here. So like now it's just like the best of all the things. Like I get to go to Laguna, meet my best friend's other best friend, have an amazing time with them. Like we haven't really traveled together until we came to Alberta, like until she came to Alberta. And I was like, this is like the funnest thing ever. And then I get to go and meet my mentor, one of my mentors in person, do an in-person session with her. And then I get to see my business partner. It's all in the same vicinity. And then there's another synchronicity. Just say, hold on, guys. And then I get to like manifested a ride with my business partner, who's also like one of my really, really, really good friends. Like we've become like very close friends. Like I would consider her one of my best friends. And then I get to go to Sedona, where my soul has been calling me to. And I channeled a masterclass called Heal from Your Soul several months ago. And this was kind of like a free gifted masterclass that's going to be like a prereq to Oracle Wisdom Academy. But I didn't know where I was supposed to do it and when I was supposed to do it. Well, I'm supposed to do that in Sedona, where I literally studied shamanism. And I was like, this is so beyond perfect. Like you cannot make this stuff up. And then I get to see Daniela, and now her connection is like somebody who is a fit likely for Oracle Wisdom Academy. And there's a number of other people who have expressed interest, who have been in my world a while or who have come into my world more recently. And then I get to see Daniela as well. And then one of my other dearest soul sisters, shout out to Danya. I'm talking to her the other day, and I was moving through something, and she held space, and like we were just kind of connecting on the energies of the planet right now. And she moved back to the island for a bit. She was in Vancouver for a while, and she was like, what are you thinking for like November, December? And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go to like California and like Arizona, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I'm just like locking down like the final plans for it right now, like read dates. I'm not 100% sure, but they're getting locked down. And she was like, what? I think I'm going there and so-and-so's going there. And she also knows Nicole. And I was like, you just cannot make this stuff up. So like we're all going to connect in California and Arizona. And like, there's also somebody who I have had so many come to Jesus moments. Like I pray to Jesus all the time. I love Jesus. And I've just started sharing this publicly. And then there's somebody there who I get to meet too, who's like really had a very profound spiritual awakening with Jesus as well. And for those of you who don't know, Jesus is God. It's like the portal to God. So when we pray to Jesus, it connects us to God. So anyways, God doesn't make mistakes, and our higher self doesn't make mistakes. And so when we face like these challenges of like, oh, am I like supposed to go? Am I not? Like everything's lining up and then something doesn't. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen. Or you're like, the abundance should be coming and then this check was supposed to come and it doesn't. It's like, well, how else can I create more abundance if this check is delayed or if this payment is delayed? How else can I call it in? And the crazy thing about this is because I had all these challenges with like the commanding the quantum leap and then checks that were literally like supposed to be here already that I was expecting, or payments that were supposed to come through, because I had to be creative and call in and open my field to call in this abundance like in time to pay that credit card bill without having to pay interest. I actually have all this other cash flow coming now for the freaking trip, because obviously it's a business expense. It's all business. Like my business partner and my clients and all the things. So, and my mentor. And I'm just like, this is the cool thing about, running a business, guys, is like things like this where you're like going to visit a mentor and like do sessions or meeting a business partner. Like they're all write-offs, which is great because I'm there for work and I'm doing a masterclass and whatnot. I'm there for work, and obviously it's a business write-off, but you also can have fun doing it. Like business should be fun. So I'm like, everything's working in our favor. And sometimes it's so easy to get into victim mindset. But when we're in our victim mindset, we cannot create. Our creator mindset's very different. And this is why like literally the name of my business is Jill Alana International, which means victory. And my spiritual name is all about overcoming challenges and adversity, which has been my life story, and teaching other people to do the same through my embodiment. And so what I want you to take from this podcast, if nothing else, is that we can command quantum leaps. Like we can choose that. We can create that. It's all in the choice. If you guys have heard the story of Tally, when she manifested like the money for my retreat in a freaking night. Nicole did that last year as well. Nicole's wasn't in a night, but it was in like a couple weeks. And like, she was like, well, I could use this money. And I'm like, don't use that money. Let's just call in more. Like, here's some tools. This is the energetics of how this works. And like, Tash shared her story on this. I believe it was Tash. Anyways, if you scroll back on the podcast, there's so many stories like this where we choose that reality and the quantum field responds to that. This is the double slit experiment. Like wherever we're putting energy, that timeline is the timeline that's going to manifest. And what I recommend is attuning to the highest timeline, which is literally God's timeline for us, our higher selves' timeline for us, because our higher self is a mini God. And listening. Like, I've come to the place where I'm not like, Jill wants this and let's like create it. I'm like, okay, God, higher self, what does Jill's soul want? And the frequency of that, I already know what the frequency of that. That's freedom, that's authenticity, that's love, that's joy, that's pleasure, that's play. And like, show me the highest timeline of the highest service for all, including myself. When it's the highest service for all, it includes yourself. The highest level of abundance includes yourself. The highest level of prosperity and wealth includes yourself. Okay? So you will face challenges in creation, but remember that you're the creator, because the moment we go into victim mindset, we can't be the victor. We can't be the creator. And now we just succumb to whatever like the world wants to hand us. And God wants you to remember that you are the creator. And God wants to work through you to show other people what's possible, as he continues to work through me to show other people what's possible. And so, and my clients and like my community. And so we're literally magical, powerful creators. But you cannot create when you're in your victimhood. So step out of your victimhood. Listen to your higher self. Know that both and is the highest timeline. I could have easily been like, I joined the mastermind, not doing anything else. Well, no, this other mentor came and she had specific keys for me. And I did one session. I'm like, dang, I'm supposed to actually do mentorship. But like, I didn't think I had the cash flow for that. And so, I created that. God helped me create that. God actually, let's just give credit to God. God created that through me. And then I faced all these challenges and I was like, the check's not arrived and this and this and this. And why hasn't the check arrived? Because it went on, Canada Post went on strike. And then like this payment was late from this. And it was like, it was just showing me that I can't rely on a specific check, a specific payment, a specific investment. I literally need to open up my field to infinite abundance, infinite possibility, come in the highest timeline. And you know what else is so crazy? Literally today, something popped up from 7 years ago. It was a Tim Tam commercial that I did. And my cousin had posted it and it popped up on my Facebook. And I was like, whoa. And I remember with one of the women, beautiful women, showed it to Anita in my community. She was like, she lives in Australia. They're from Australia. Although she's moving because she manifested selling her house and all the things and a lot more in Soul Sales September, which lives in the living library of the Prosperity Portal membership, by the way. Miracles happen in Soul Sales September. If you want holy provision and the keys for that, in business, get in the Prosperity Portal membership, because the codes in Soul Sales September are unreal. Anyway, she ended up selling her house, which was her main intention in that few weeks, and she's moving. So congrats. And she also got like 500 people in her offering that she launched during that, which is phenomenal. Anyways, she's on fire. She's killing it, and such a beautiful soul. We were talking about how I was in a Tim Tam commercial a while ago, and I was like, I can't find it. Like, it disappeared. Anyways, it popped up in my cousin's, she shared it like 7 years ago. So it popped up on my thing recently. And I was like, here's me being Tim Tam of Canada. Well, that check literally came 2 years later, the buyout check for that, and paid for my trip to Cyprus and Greece when I first studied energy healing, when I didn't have the abundance. I did not have the money. Plus London was closed and somehow I got across the border. It was like the COVID. 2020 is when I went. And like that check came in the mail. I mean, if you don't get it within 6 months, you're likely not going to get it. It came like a year and a half later, maybe even 2 years later. And it came like 24 hours after I had decided, maybe 36, I'm not sure. It was within 2 days of me deciding I was going to Greece and Cyprus, and I didn't know how, and I didn't have the funds. Boom. Okay. So like, it's all in the choice, loves. Like, it is literally all in the choice. Come back to your creative energy. Come back to your true sovereignty. And pray is what I advise you to. Like, pray to your higher self, pray to God, start channeling your higher self. Make sure you're channeling the light, not, infiltration, but that's a whole other conversation. Tools for that are in data, which, by the way, is a prereq for Oracle Wisdom Academy. Anywho, so yeah, I would love to see you guys in the Prosperity Portal membership or at the retreat. We've had a number of people jump into the membership, and a few sign up for the retreat, which is so exciting. The retreat is the end of May. It's still an early bird, and the Prosperity Portal membership is linked below. It is like your toolkit to prosper in health, wealth, relationship. Like, the living library will continue to grow and grow and grow and live on. And our first call, I believe, is November 2nd, the Sunday. And the calls will be live and then recorded and popped in the living library. We're also going to be doing Jai breath work in there, intuitive reads, energy boosts, energy clearings for denser energies that have been holding you back and distorting your field. And if you want a little sample of it, like the masterclass, the free prosperity masterclass is linked below, so you can have a little sample and understanding of what we're going to be doing in there. People are loving the living library already, and we haven't even started the live calls. So that's exciting. Like, the most amazing group of people from all over the world. I love my community. They are phenomenal. And remember, you are the creator. Like, step into being the victor and creator of your life, because this is where life gets fun and we start to thrive instead of survive. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the Prosperity Portal membership. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following my journey and coming on this wild journey with me. Big hugs. My Prosperity Portal May retreat for 2026 is now open on early bird. The applications are linked below. This is the most powerful portal of transformation you will ever enter. Miracles happen at these retreats. We've had people manifest their beloveds, manifest dream houses, women manifest dream houses, citizenship in record time, their dream car, their dream partner, dream wedding. One woman manifested 6 figures at an event. You can see that on the landing page. You can scroll down. It's in the video testimonials. Deepening in union. And really, this is all about becoming your most authentic version of you and transmuting trauma on a deep core level with somatic work and reclaiming your power, your purpose, and your potentials through integrating your shadow, so that you are the driver, the victor of your life, versus your unconscious wounds driving your life and you calling it fate, because it's not. Carl Jung. The things that are unconscious, aka shadow, run our life and control your electromagnetic field, your energy field, and then we call it fate. It is not fate. You're literally controlling it. And when you integrate your shadow, illuminate it, and transmute the dense energies that were stopping that integration from taking place, then now you have your full power, your full presence, and your life purpose begins to reveal. And this is how you become the vortex and a powerful AF manifester. Literally. It is bonkers. So there is no retreat out there like this. I have gone to so many, and honestly, I wish I could come as a participant. But I'll be facilitating, and it's like a family vibe. You guys get to talk with me. You can ask me anything. Last year I did mini intuitive reads for everyone, which were literally not mini, and those are typically 4 figures. They were like full intuitive reads, so perhaps we'll do those. We have some surprises, which I can't tell you about. You'll have to come see. It's on the Sunshine Coast, which is just off of Vancouver, BC in Canada. It's at a beautiful location. Everything's included. It will be taking place in the yurt, but you have your own, a shared room, your own bed. at a beautiful resort. There's a cold dip, there is a sauna, there is a spa, there is a hot tub. You can book a Lomi Lomi massage with Jen, who's one of the owners and such a beautiful human and also powerful healer. Yes, we will be doing Jai breath work for those who have asked, and Jai activations, and a lot more. It's going to be a ton of fun too. It is. I literally, one of my superpowers is making like the deepest core healing so fun. And you walk out transformed and you're just like on cloud nine. You're like, I don't even need anything. I don't want anything. I just feel so good. And by default, you become a magnet to all the miracles. That's how it works. So that is below. This will likely be the last retreat of this sort in a while. Everything's included. We have an amazing private chef as well. And the reason is because we're switching to more of an immersion style moving forward. And that might only be accessible to my high level mastermind that I run with my dear soul sister and business partner, which we're going to be doing a year-long mastermind for. So I don't know when or if we will do another retreat of this intimacy again. So get your butt in if you feel the call, get your application in, let's chat, let's make sure it's in alignment, and you will meet the best soul community from all over the world. And I do not say that lightly. They all say that. They're all still freaking friends from across the world. So soul family from across the world, and literally you becoming a magnet to your dreams and clearing all the energetics out of your field that aren't in alignment and that we're actually blocking, stopping, or slowing down your soul manifestations. Let's go. Hello, sacred soul. I hope you loved that episode. And if you did, I would so appreciate if you could share and tag me on the social medias at Jill Alana Nixon. And if this brought you value, I would be eternally grateful if you could leave a 5-star review. And if you did, take a picture and email it to teamjillalananixon@gmail.com, and we will gift you a free cord cutting soul revival mini activation, a Jai activation. Put that in the show notes, the email, and thank you so much. We will see you again next week on the Prosperity Portal podcast.